Ruth Ann does a kids drill team dance clinic early in January every year. We invite every elementary and middle school kid. The high school guard teaches and performs. We give up a whole Saturday of what a lot of people would say is a winter guard Saturday when you're learning your show or something like that. All these little kids come in the morning. They learn routines based on their age level. Then we perform at a basketball game that evening. Everyone loves it. It packs this. We easily make $2,000 just on the clinic part of it. It packs the gymnasium that night, and we have the concessions at the basketball game. So the concession stand goes up that night, and we make even more money. And all these little kids are coming in wanting to be in high school guard someday, and it's a lot of fun, and the high school kids love teaching it. There's a picture of one year of that, the show. They come out, they learn a simple little routine. There's the Munchkin group. There's some even smaller ones. There are 2 grade levels at a time. And Ruth Ann will pick out a theme. Then it might be Mickey Mouse. It might be Disney. It might be current pop tunes. It might be country. It might be rock and roll. Whatever. It might be Grease or something like that. And so each little group comes out and does their minute-and-a-half routine to one of those songs, and then they all come out for the big finale, and the execution is terrible, and nothing goes up or down at the same time, and somebody drops their pom-poms, and we don't care, and everyone's happy. And one year, Ruth Ann, surprised we didn't get a divorce over this, we have confetti cannons for the Christmas concert. At the end of the Christmas concert, confetti cannons go off all over the place. One of these years we're going to scare some poor old lady into a heart attack or something like that. But at one of these things, then Ruth Ann said, well, let's do the confetti cannons at the end. So she got one and went down here to this corner of the gym. And she gave me the other one and told me to come down here to this corner of the gym, and we'd shoot them off on the last note. Cool, no big deal. Well, hers went off fine. Me, being the idiot that I am, aimed too high, and it wasn't confetti, it was streamers. Guess where they went? Up on the guide wires for the basketball goal. And we couldn't start the second half until they found this 20-foot ladder. And everyone had to hold it while I shinnied up to the top of this ladder and pulled these streamers down, and the entire place made fun of me. So practice shooting off your confetti cannons. We turned what would normally, I think every band program should do a concert in February. I know some band programs pass out their concert music in January and then finally play it sometime in late spring at contests, and I don't believe in doing that. So we do the Christmas concert the second or third week in Christmas, second or third week in December, and then as soon as we come back second semester, we pass out new music, and we start on Pop's concert that is usually around Valentine's Day in February. Now, once again, here's another example. We could just do a concert and go home. But we've turned it into a Pops concert, a chicken noodle dinner, a huge big event, and it's not only become another community event. I think a lot of people go to church and then come eat lunch with us and go to one of the concerts. It's also become one of those times where grandparents can come see their kids, because I didn't think of this when I was younger, and the older I get and the more I see my family and everything, and the more I saw my family go through wheelchairs, et cetera, like that, grandparents aren't going to come to night events. They just don't leave the house at night. They're scared of the dark. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They aren't going to go out at night. They'll come out on a Sunday afternoon. So what we do is we have free concerts in the auditorium at 12:30 and 2:30. Then we have gym performances at 1:30, which is the guard, the indoor percussion, the percussion kids who are not in indoor percussion. So we have 2 percussion performances, and our junior high cadet corps. And it's become Grandparents' Day. It's post-church day. At the concerts, half of the high school kids perform at the 12:30 concert, half of them perform at the 2:30 concert. Some of the older kids perform at both concerts. At the 7th grade, and at the 12:30 concert, the 7th grade band does 3 tunes. And at the 2:30 concert, the 8th grade band does 3 tunes. The high school jazz band slips in there in the auditorium, and the junior high jazz band slips in there. So we have the only thing we haven't involved is our 6th grade beginners. I got to figure that out. But we have all those people performing The auditorium is packed for both concerts. The gym is packed then for their performance. Serving goes on from like, it says 11 to 2. We serve over 1,000 people. A place in town donates all the chicken, another place donates all the noodles, another place we make homemade rolls, and another person donates all the materials. It's a long, big day for about 20 of us, but it's a huge moneymaker, easily $7,000 or $8,000 and my point is, it's a $7,000 or $8,000 fundraiser, and I think everybody should do a concert anyway. So why don't you put a few extra hours into it and make some money out of it and help pay your bills? And once again, you're not selling crap to people they don't want. We also have a yard sale, because you probably asked yourself that question a while ago. Do you ever have extra merchandise? Of course we do. And we have, for everything we do, we keep all the extras. We set up a huge yard sale at this, and there are people that know it's going to be there, and they'll about knock you down to try to buy the leftover marching band shirts and stuff like that. We have a smoothie stand in operation the whole time, making money, etc. We do host contests. And we host contests. Getting to host a contest, you have to have a reputation, you have to have a facility, you have to be organized, people have to trust you. Once you get a contest, then you got to do all those things times 10 to keep the contest. We've had a Winter Guard contest. We started it in '96, so that data's wrong then. I don't know how many years it is now. The past 13, if that says 13, we had over 80 guards. In 2013, we were the first school to ever have a Friday night and Saturday show in the state of Indiana. And every year, that's happened every year. We usually have closer to 90 guards, and it's the biggest show in Indiana, and it's 2 nights. The expenses are more, but we make a lot of money. Now, here's the interesting fact about that. It's the most popular. In Indiana, you get to request the event you want to go to. I'm the president of the association, so I'm involved in the moving of people. You might get moved away from Northview because we're too full. You might get moved from somewhere else, but you basically get to choose the show you want to go to. That's why we've had to expand to Friday night. People want to come on Friday night. We had that many guards. And first, people resisted Friday night, you guard instructors and band instructors. But now, they're going, oh man, this is great. I come on Friday night, I get it over with. I practice a little bit on Saturday. And Bob, while you're still at school Saturday night, I'm already home. So Friday night's becoming hugely popular. So that is a $14,000 or $15,000. The Winter Guard contest is a $14,000 or $15,000 fundraiser. It takes 140 workers, though, to pull it off. So there's a huge amount of stress in my life getting that many workers, but it usually happens. The interesting fact is, we're the most popular guard show, and I'm saying this now to brag. I am bragging. We're the most popular color guard show in Indiana, and our building has 1 gym. We don't even have a warm-up gym. They have to go out in front of the building and get on school buses and go to the middle school next door and warm up, and then get on a school bus and come back. And we have 2 buses that run a constant shuttle between the high school and the middle school. So you guard directors in the room, if you can imagine being willing in the middle of winter to go out and get on a school bus and go next door and come back. I'm bragging now because that tells you how well we run the contest, that we can still be the most popular Winter Guard contest in the state of Indiana with the absolute worst facility. And that's because we do it well. One thing we do well that sucks the directors in, we can totally transform the band room into a hospitality room, and we don't just bring in tables and chairs. We take everything out of the band room and hide it in rooms around the corner, and we bring in lounge chairs and couches and all kinds of furniture and all kinds of lamps and tables and everything, and we turn it into and we bring the lights down, and we have lamps, and we have an unbelievable buffet, and it becomes a place where they can all get away, and it's comfortable. They can sit on a couch. There's coffee tables, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The directors love it, and it's the nicest hospitality room. Avon does a pretty darn good job with their food, but our ambience beats everybody, and that's one of the reasons that people come back every year. And that is a huge amount of work. If you can imagine taking everything out of your band room, turning it into a hospitality room, and then on Sunday morning, when the rest of the world has decided to sleep in, you're back, putting everything back in your band room with 6 kids who show up. So yes, it's a huge amount of work, but that's why the contest makes some money. We also host district concert contest, and basically we might make $1,000 there selling hot dogs. The biggest reason to host your own concert contest, in my personal opinion, you can determine when you're going to perform. We do Jazz Cafe at the end of the year. We could just do a jazz concert, but we turn the cafeteria into a jazz club. We charge $5 admission, not $3. We sell snacks and drinks. Kids who are not in jazz band are the servers and the wait staff, and we make it like a real restaurant. There's a bouncer at the door. The lights are down, the whole 9 yards. We own our own set of DJ lights. We get a guest artist every year, and the profit is way over $1,000 now, and Page's Music sponsors the guest artist, which helps take that up too. And it makes for the kids, once again, it makes just a normal jazz concert. We turn it into, we tell them, we try to convince them that this is what it's like to be in a real jazz place and play in a real jazz club, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and everybody has a good time. Whew. We took then another example, and this is why my hair is gray, and this is, I'll be honest with you, I don't want any of you to try to do all these things. Because when you become 62 years old like I am, all these things put together are the reason I'm going, okay, retirement person, how many years do I have to teach? How much more can I do of this? We've taken the end of the year concert, which once again just could be a concert, the last concert in May, and we do it on a Friday night. We move it to the gym, which, yeah, kind of ruins the acoustics and everything, but we call it Top It Off, and on Friday night there's a concert. The guard performs, the drummers perform, jazz band performs, there's a live auction, there's a silent auction, there's a dessert and drink bar. We close the gym down for the school lets us, and I know this, some of you are saying there's no way my school's going to let me do that, and 20 years ago there's no way my school was going to let me do this. There's one thing to be said for staying in one community 39 or 40 years and being halfway successful. We turn the gym into a dinner theater. We put tarps down. We bring in, we string Christmas lights clear across the gym floor from every possible side. We take stage lights down out of the auditorium and mount them on the bars of the balcony of the bleachers. We have reserved tables, and we use a food credit system. There's free seats in the bleachers for anyone who doesn't want to participate and just go up there and sit and watch the kid. I might have a picture here. There we go. So we set up and we perform over there, and I don't know what winter guard tarp that was that got used, Zodiac maybe, and then there's dancers and all kinds of things go on here. People sit back there, and there's a whole bunch of chairs back here then where people could sit and just have a seat. The tables are reserved. The band sits over there, jazz band, et cetera, and you can see the stage lights, and it's become a huge, big event. That's on Friday night, and then, of course, we play, and then we have a professional auction who's an alumni of the band. He goes around and auctions off Disney tickets and cruises and all those kind of things. That goes on Friday night, and then I got to go back. On Saturday, then, we attack the town, and this kills another Saturday in your life, but this is how you pay the bills. On Saturday, we attack the town. We have street musicians all over town. We have car washes. We pump gas. We do about anything, and that becomes a $10,000 weekend, and now it's up to probably about 15. Very late May then, the drummers do their version of a kids clinic called Junkyard Jam. We own a lot of trash cans, we own a lot of buckets, we own a lot of noisy things, and it works on the same principle as Ruth Ann's Drill Team Clinic in January. We go out and take brochures out to all the elementary kids in the corporation, and we get 70 or 80 kids a year, maybe 90 at the most, to sign up for this. They come in the morning. They split up in groups based on their age. They learn little easy drumming skills. They learn call and response things little drummers can do. And then that night they come back and do a concert on stage. The high school performs first. We have a guest soloist usually. And then all the little kids get up and we do basically our 15-minute version of Stomp or something like that. And everybody puts earplugs in, and we have the whole decorations, and the high school kids all wear makeup and everything, and it's a lot of work, but it's easily now over $1,500 because you build enough money into this clinic registration that makes you a fortune. And there's really once you own all the trash cans, there's no expense. And then you also charge $2 or $3 for mom and dad to come watch their kid perform after they paid $25 for them to be in the clinic. But everyone's happy to do it. In June, I can't believe we started doing this, but we started once we used to practice the month of June and just start learning our marching band show. And then we would take July off and come back when school started. Then, probably in 2000, Ruth Ann started, our town, I jump ahead, our local Rotary has a week-long 4th of July festival at the park, and we have a beautiful city park. You would think you were watching The Music Man. We have, I told you I thought it was a dumpy little town when I interviewed for the job. We have a beautiful park with a band shell and a pavilion and all kinds of things. They do a week-long Rotary festival, and in about 2000, Ruth Ann started taking the guard over and doing a variety show because there's entertainment every night. And Ruth Ann started taking one of the nights. And then she chastised me, so we added the band to it. So we spend 3 weeks of June, when most bands are practicing their marching band show, we spend 3 weeks of June learning this patriotic variety show with the band, the dancers, the cadet corps, etc. And we go over, and it's usually on a Tuesday night before the 4th of July. We do 2 patriotic variety shows. The place is out of control, packed. I mean, every 2,000 people is a lot of people for a city our size to come to such an event. And we've been doing it now. I think we started doing it in '04, the band. And since we started doing it, some people are going to say, well, doesn't that take away from the marching band being good? Since we started doing that, we've won 3 state championships, and we don't even start on our show anymore until 2 days before the 4th of July, and then we take all of July off. And now that I don't know how your school is, but we keep going more to this balanced schedule, and now our school starts August 3rd. And so I can't do it to the kids. They just get the whole month of July off. And we come back when school starts and just do as best we can. And we always usually finish, knock on wood, in top 3 in the state. So I have to ask myself now what we used to do the month of June. We must have wasted a lot of people's time, because we do a lot more now and we're just as good competitively. Anyway, at the same time this thing goes on, the band boosters and the Rotary put on a huge fish fry, and all the profits go to the band. And this year it was over $7,000. Then, later on that week, at the 4th of July festival, the guard has a smoothie hut, and the band parents have pineapple whip. We used to do pro sporting events. Some of those are great, and you can get into those pro sporting events, and some of them are great. We used to do the 500, the Brickyard, and all those things. The detractions to those things are that there's alcohol involved, and you're going to make some of your band parents mad. The other detraction of those things is the Indianapolis 500 is such a big event. They want you in the facility at 5 a.m. the day of the race. That means for us living an hour and a half away, that means leaving home at 3:30 and getting there at 5 a.m. and then you sit around until they actually open the gates at 11 or noon, and then you work like a dog until 4 o'clock, and then you clean up for 2 hours, and then you drive home and you're covered in grease, and you have to have 30 parents per stand. It's a lot of work. It's big money, but it's a lot of work. If you get lucky and you're in a metropolitan area, at all sporting events, whatever they are hiring people all the time to do that. And if your parents will be okay with it, the ones to try to get into is where you're only selling the beer or alcohol, and you're not dealing with all the food and everything. And the reason is, it's real easy to open and sell. And at every sporting event, they cut off the alcohol sales during the 3rd quarter or sometime before the event is over. So the people who only do alcohol stands are packed up and in their car and gone before the event is over. So if you ever get an opportunity to do that, you want to fight for one of those. And back when we did it, we gave every kid $30 when their parents showed up. I'm not sure it's a lot of work, and for us being an hour and a half away, a lot of the Indianapolis people are heavily involved in that. We also are huge on donations. We have a semi given to us. We've got a $60,000 tower that was totally donated. We have a free U-Haul. We have people all the time helping us out with instruments. Like I told you about the meals, we have a storage unit. And a lot of that comes because, like a guy walked in and said, I want to talk to you about the scaffold that you guys stand on. It's unsafe, blah, blah, blah. I want to build you a tower. And I said, okay, well, he happened to be the manager of Great Dane, and I didn't know what he had in mind. He built us an unbelievable tower. It has steps going up, switchback steps. There's room at the top for at least 12 people to stand and rehearse the band. It's one of the best towers I've seen anywhere ever, and it was totally free. And he spearheaded it and got the community to do their part, but it was because he had kids in band. So once again, you may not be in the situation I lucked out to be in, but staying in one place and having success and having kids go home at night and say, yeah, band's good for me, and having parents realize that band's good for them, and doing things the right way pays off and makes your life easier. Oh, there's the tower under construction. He insisted on leaving those 4 things up there because he thought we needed a roof. And I said, we don't need a roof. I said, I'm scared of what it's going to do to the sound. I don't want a roof. And I like sunshine. Probably cancer boy waiting here, but I like my sunshine. And he said, no, when it starts storming and raining and all those things, you need a roof. And I said, I tell you what, if it's storming and raining, my ASS is in the band room. I don't know who's out there rehearsing, but we don't need a roof. If it's raining that bad, we're going in. Anyway, that's the tower that we were basically given. Well, we were given. And it's right, of course, on our field. And now, right over here, I can't wait for this to happen. They're building a whole new music suite for us because the school needs an upgrade. So they're building a whole new music suite, and the band room, the back corner of the band room has a set of double doors, and it's literally 12 steps. When you push the doors open, it's 12 steps to the corner of the band practice lot. It's adjacent to the band practice lot. It's going to be fantastic. They're going to start on it in November. We lucked out again because our area becomes the principal's office, and the whole music area becomes the new principal suite, administrative suite. So the first thing that has to happen in the building project is the band and choir room so that we can move out so that they can tear our room up. They say they're going to start on it next November coming up, and by a year from now, we'll be moving into it. So that's really exciting. The community the community support is incredible. When I typed this, I'd been there 37 years. Now we've been there 39. I can walk into any business in town and speak to the owner, but I've made everyone in town mad at least once, or twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. Former students are now band boosters. Former band boosters are now grandparents. People know the value of the program, and we're willing to give back. I showed you all those events we do. We're willing to give back, and when there's some way that we can step up to help, we do. For instance, about a month ago, people in the town realized that we have a lot of kids who during the summer are not getting 3 meals a day, are not getting 2 meals a day, are probably lucky to get 1 meal a day. And they started identifying those kids, and a bunch of nice people in town started taking donations, and every day they go in at 10:30 and pack up all these lunches, and then they split up in their cars and go deliver them to all these kids. And I found out that was going on. I found out they were short on food, so I went berserk on Facebook and everywhere with all social media and every possible communication I have. And I said, for 2 days, I'm putting the band U-Haul out in front of the school. When you come to practice, throw something in there. And after 2.5 days, the U-Haul was full of water and food and stuff for these people. So then we took it down and delivered it. And doing things like that, just, it makes you feel good, and it's the right thing to do, but it also shows the community that you're part of the community and that you're willing to help, and it's not just take. Because if you're not careful, it's pretty easy to take. We want to do well at every contest. I'm very competitive. I'm as immature as you could possibly get. I want to win every contest, and when we don't, I throw a fit. Privately, I go home and kick something. The family gets yelled at, et cetera, and we all know that. And everyone's okay with that, and usually the rest of my family is right behind me yelling too. My daughter's now the event manager at Lucas Oil Stadium. She was at DCI. She was with the Boston Crusaders, so she's heavily involved in the activity. And we like to win. We love to win. But you don't win all the time. And over the years, we've taken it, and this has been a lot of years, but over the years, I'm very proud of the fact that even though everybody in the organization wants to win, and our goal is to win a state championship every year, and we don't talk about it, we don't preach about it, we don't spend time worrying about it, we don't say if you do this, you have a chance to win. We don't even mention any of that crap, but we all know we're there to win. But you don't. And sometimes you win when you don't deserve to. Sometimes you deserve to and you don't. That's okay, whatever happens. The bottom line is perform your rear end off. The bottom line is practice great, have a great culture, have fun, and we have a tremendous amount of fun. We love to practice. The kids love to work hard. But what I'm really proud of, and you can put this on my tombstone, Gary, the bottom line is, and we started it jokingly, and now the kids say it with a smile on their face, but it's also becoming part of who we are. The bottom line is we go to every contest or event, whatever it is, we perform our rear end off, and then we don't talk about the performance, we don't talk about the scores, we don't talk about the recaps, we don't even worry about that stuff. The joke is, the kids say, okay, when do we eat? And that's the way we want to keep it. Go work your rear end off, perform, and then when do we eat? And on Monday, we'll watch the video. We won't look at the score sheets. We won't look at the recaps. On Monday, whatever the season is, we'll watch the video. We'll watch the video with the sound off so that they have to evaluate the visual part of whatever they did. And then we'll watch the video with the visual off so they have to listen to whatever it is crap they put out there under the pretense of music. And we evaluate that. And I would say 9 out of 10 times when kids leave the class on Monday, they walk out the door and goes, man, that sucked. Man, we got to fix that. Man, we got to fix that. I don't think you're going to hear a Northview kid walk out the door or on Facebook or social media say we got screwed at the contest. I think they're always going to say, oh, they sounded better and we got to fix this, blah, blah, blah. And famous Tim Lotzenheiser thing, no matter what happens, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Well, I don't know the way it's storming. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, and the screen door is still going to slam, and the neighbor's dog is still going to bark. And with my situation in my tree on the neighbor's garage, we don't know what that means. But anyway, Tim Lotzenheiser then beat this in, and we've been friends since 1982. And I went to every Tim Lotzenheiser clinic I could ever go to, and I still do. Use music to make the kids. Don't use the kids to make music. And that's something I tell myself every morning when I get up, and when I'm all stressed out and worried about this and worried about that and thinking the band's going to sound like crap and we're going to look like crap and we're not ready for the next performance and I don't know what we're going to do and half the kids are missing a day for ECA testing, blah, 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 blah. I sit there at my desk and I watch those kids, half of which are on free and reduced lunch. I watch them walk in the band room. And they're talking about this, and they're talking about that, and their life is perfectly fine. And they're not feeling any of the stress I'm feeling. They'll sit down, they'll work hard, we'll get better, we'll have a good time at it, but then they're going to go back to being a kid. And that's what it's supposed to be. And that once I finally realized that, and I jokingly say it, but I can't tell you how many times I just sit at my chair at my desk and watch them walk past me to go in the band room, and I listen to the conversation they're having about who's dating who, and who rah, rah, and rah, 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 and what tests they haven't studied for, and it always reminds me they're just kids, and my activity that I love and have given my whole life to and have done everything for and means everything to me is just one little part of their life. Now, I want them to take it serious. I want them to sound good. I want them to look good, but it's just part of their life. Now, it's most of my life, has most of my family's life, but it's just part of their life. So use music to make the kids. Whatever you do, color guard, whatever it is, use the activity to make the kid a better person. And don't use the kid to make your activity. Don't use the kid to chase a trophy, blah, blah, blah. Work your rear end off, sound good, look good, and everything will turn out. And you might, and yes, 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 the absolute most nerve-wracking moment of my life every year is when they start the award ceremony at state finals, and I can't decide if I'm going to vomit or have a heart attack, or both. And I go through it every year, and it doesn't get any better after 39 years. It doesn't get any better, but then The best, and then that night, the entire band trashes our house. Years ago, I opened my mouth and challenged the band that they couldn't out-TP the staff. Well, that's turned into a war. And the entire band and parents, I think, with help, show up about 10 o'clock the night of state finals, and the staff is all still there. And we used to try to protect the place and actually have a war. Now we just go out and stand and watch. And they literally TP all 2.5 acres. There's one tree they won't have to TP next year because it's over the neighbor's garage. But they TP the entire place, and we let it go on for an hour, and then we call it quits, and they all get in their cars and leave and go home. The staff runs around the entire time it's going on and knocks the toilet paper out of their hand as they're getting ready to throw it. Our staff's gotten really good at this. They'll sneak up behind them and grab the roll and then run. And I kid you not, by the time that night is over and the staff and I are done collecting, there's a box like this big of toilet paper. And the next thing is not an exaggeration. My family has not purchased toilet paper for 5 or 6 years. Every year we get a lifetime supply that night out of unused rolls, and I keep making fun of them. I go, you guys are amateur toilet paper throwers. But we have fun, and life goes on, and then the next day at noon, they all have to come back, and we have a arena roast, and we clean it up as best we can. But I think that might give you an idea of the camaraderie and the approach we take to it all. And that happens whether we come in first or dead last. And I think that's the last slide. It is. I quit. Questions? I talked too long anyway. Cool. Thank you very much.